Government panel wants mental health screenings for all adults in America. Recommendation calls for monitoring depression and anxiety. This is by American Military News on WND. A U.S. Public Health Task Force is now recommending that everyone over the age of 18 should undergo mental health screenings for depression, and those between 19 and 64 years old should be screened for anxiety disorders, even if they're showing no symptoms of these mental health disorders. On Monday, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, USPSTF, published their draft recommendations for new mental health screenings for a majority of the U.S. adult population. One recommendation calls for all adults 18 and over to get screenings for depression and suicide risks if they don't already have a diagnosed mental health disorder or are not showing recognized depression symptoms or signs of being at suicide risk. A second recommendation calls for all adults between the ages of 19 and 64 to undergo screening for anxiety who are not already diagnosed with mental health disorders or are not showing recognized signs of symptoms of anxiety. The USPSTF is a panel of medical professionals selected by U.S. Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality. While not mandatory, the advice this panel publishes has an influence over how doctors practice medicine throughout the U.S., according to the Washington Post. These USPSTF recommendations are in draft form and are open for public comment through October 17. These USPSTF member Lori Burt, clinical psychologist, professor at University of Massachusetts Chan Medical School in Worcester, told the Washington Post that the mental health screening recommendations were being evaluated before the COVID outbreak, but said the era of lockdowns has had an impact on mental health throughout the country. Screening is great, but with a dire shortage in the workforce, it's perplexing unless there are plans for increasing funding of clinicians. This is what Eugene Barrison, psychiatrist at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston and executive director of Clay Center for Young Health Minds, told Washington Post. Mental health is also a concern for military and veteran communities. The study published earlier this week by the nonprofit group America's Warrior Partnership, AWP, found that as many as 24 veterans harmed themselves every day between 2014 and 18. The organization found that the Department of Veterans Affairs likely undercounted what the veterans were doing. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.